I met Marissa when she was 4 years old, and she was actually one of my first BAYADA clients that I ever picked up. Marissa said to me, "Miss Michele, we've known each other for a long time." And I said, "Yes, we have, Marissa." And she says, "Remember the time when you were trying to teach me how to climb up the stairs when I was 4 years old?" And I said, "Yes, Marissa, I remember." "And we couldn't climb up in walking, but you were teaching me how to climb on my hands and my knees." I said, "Yes, Marissa." She said, "Mommy and Daddy didn't think I could do it." I said, "I know, and you know what happened, right?" She goes, "Yeah, I made it all the way to the top, and they were so surprised. They couldn't believe it." I was like, "I know." And I said, "Remember that time when we decided to put tutus on and tap dance in your parallel bars?" And she was like, "That was so much fun. And we did ballet." She was talking about, she remembered all of the ballet terminology, pliés and all these things. And she just had such a great time.
Marissa was born with a congenital diaphragmatic hernia, CDH. It's a birth defect where when she was born, she had a hole in her diaphragm. So her stomach and her bowels, everything, instead of being in her stomach, it was all up in her chest. So with her diagnosis, she had a real struggle in the beginning and was oxygen deprived, which led her to brain damage. So she has cerebral palsy. Every cold became a pneumonia. Every cough became bronchitis. Every illness, she would spiral downward and wind up either in the emergency room or at the hospital.
Marissa has had probably about, 18 or 19 orthopedic surgeries in her, lifetime, from the time that I met her at 4, and she's 23 now. And, every time you have an orthopedic surgery, you gotta go backwards before you can go forwards again. In her mind, she feels like she can just do anything, but her body just doesn't agree with her. Like, she has so much tone and spasticity in her body that she can't move the way the rest of us do. And so that really takes a toll on her.
It's very difficult for our families to advocate for their children. It's constant work. It's almost like a lot of parents will say it's a struggle to get the help that their children need. And one of the things that Marissa's mother said was that Marissa's therapy was something that she never had to worry about. Michele thinks about and cares for her clients 24/7. She will make phone calls after hours, weekends, whatever the family needs, Michele takes care of.
I'm sure you can imagine that for someone like Marissa, it's very difficult to navigate through her life with all of this equipment, okay? And she winds up with a lot of bumps and bruises. There's always equipment around Marissa. And Michele, over the years, has identified and modified every piece of equipment in this house, okay? Everything from Marissa's orthotics to her wheelchairs to her walkers to, she'll whip out an Allen wrench and modify something just the tiniest bit, which will stop bruising on Marissa's back or her hips. The single most important thing to me is how Michele has been able to reduce Marissa's pain. And there are nights when Marissa doesn't sleep because she's in so much pain. And there are days when Marissa is in so much pain she can barely function. And I have to watch her suffer. Fortunately, on Mondays and Wednesdays, Michele walks through the door. I honestly don't know what she does. And I don't know how she does it. She knows how to reduce Marissa's pain, alleviate her pain. She has been a constant source of comfort and joy.
Push into the floor. Got it, girl. And you're up. There you go. All right, come on, let's walk. You're in business. Go ahead. That's awesome, right? It is.
When Michele walks in, it brings a joy my life. She's just my friend. She's part of our family. You make me smile every time I see you, and you help me get through my pain and my goals.
I know for Marissa, some days are more difficult than others, and like to think about what it's like to be in her body and to see her continue to have these goals, to hear that she has these dreams and that she continues to want to do these things. And it's just her accomplishments, I feel like, are a direct reflection on the value of the work that we do.
One of my goals is to be able to walk up the steps to receive my diploma at graduation.
In Marissa's mind, you know, she wants to be able to feel what it's like to not have to hold on to anything. What would it be like to stand up and face Marissa at eye level without anything in between us? I have some friends over at University of Delaware who've developed this overhead harness system. And I think about it in my head and I'm like, well, if we set up this harness system for her to walk across that stage without anything and to be able to receive her diploma, that would be just the most amazing accomplishment ever. Just looking at her again, like looking at her being able to accomplish that tells me I did my job. I really did it. We made it happen. We made it happen all together. I mean, it's not just one person. It takes a huge village of people to be able to get Marissa to that point where she achieves that ultimate dream.
You know, we used to get on the floor. It was very hard for me to get down there. I mean, I've done that, and I want to get back to that. Cause someday, when she walks in here, I'm gonna transfer on the floor on my own, and I will wow her.